Hello guys, and welcome to my Glass Cannon Gank Stamina Templar build. This is Templar, like a Glass Cannon Gank Nightblade, and yeah, this build is pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. I really hope you guys check it out. We've got a lot of PvP footage of this bad boy, so check out the last half of that video. So without further ado, we have got 6.9k weapon damage, 57% crit, and 32k stam on this build. We hit like an absolute truck. Look at how much damage we do. This guy ends up going down anyway. So if you guys have been looking to play kind of that gank style on something that's maybe not a Nightblade, here we see Templar doing it so well. Oh my god, I don't even have words. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do, feel free to hit that like button. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button. We keep builds coming out regularly. And finally, we play live on Twitch. So if you guys want to catch some of this gameplay live, come check out my Twitch channel. Link, of course, is in the description to that bad boy. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the gank spec. I hope that you guys like this build. I enjoyed playing it a lot. So let's take a look at that build. Alright guys, let's take a look at that build. So to begin, we are a Khajiit on this build. I think Khajiit is best in slot because we get the crit % chance increase. We get a bonus 10% crit damage from stealth as well. And I just think that that alone makes Khajiit the best option for a stealth gank build. So I think Khajiit is the way to go. Wood Elf is a good option too for that bonus damage from stealth. However, they don't get that weapon crit, and the weapon crit really helps with the ganks as well. Orc is also going to be a good option. Redguard, Nord, and Imperial are okay as well. Any stam race, I guess, works. But Khajiit, I think, is definitely the one you want to go with because they will hit the hardest out of stealth. So let's take a look at the stats on this build. We've got 10k magicka, 18.6k health, 32k stamina, just shy of it. Not so bad offensively here. Our health is a little bit on the low side, very low magicka, but the 32k stam's not so bad. This is a glass cannon gank build, so we don't need much health and we don't need much magicka. We just care about that max stam for damage, baby. So there you go. Taking a look at our other stats here, we have got 637 mag recovery, we've got 260 health recovery, and 1405 stamina, 1485 stam recovery. Not crazy recoveries either. On our bow bar, we actually go up to 1682 stam recovery, so we have a little bit more recovery on that bow bar. But the recoveries on this build are very low. Fitting with that glass cannon gank style, we don't care much about regen. We are going for the biggest hit out of stealth possible and then back into stealth for our Templar. So that's why we are running fairly low regen on this spec. Taking a look at the weapon damage on our greatsword bar, we're going to buff up to 5,065 weapon damage. We, of course, are running Sword Singer, and we are running Automaton. So we have got 400 plus 450 base, so that's another around 1,200 weapon damage. So we're looking at, oh man, 6,300 weapon damage or so, plus the Senche Bow enchant, 6,900 weapon damage on this build with the nearly 32k stam. We are going to hit like a truck. This is seriously the highest damage you can kind of do for like a burst Templar. I don't think you can push it much further than this coming out of stealth. You could use a master bow, which we're not using, but because this is a stealth gank build, that's why we don't have the master bow on here. So the master bow could push it a little further. But outside of the master bow, this is like the biggest damage that we can have coming clean out of stealth. Really, really powerful hits on this build. Taking a look at our weapon critical, buffed up, we are actually at 57%. Yeah, we've got a huge crit rate as well. That is going to help us deal a lot of damage. We get critical damage bonus as a Khajiit, so that's going to be really good too. Our physical and spell resists on this build are not anything that great. Our physical resist coming at 2,200, spell resist coming at 22k, 25k. So not crazy bad, but definitely not the best. Our crit resist is very low, coming in at 1,400 crit resist. We don't have a massive amount of crit resist on this build because we are in full divines. And that is because we're playing glass cannon gank spec. We're not supposed to get hit. We're supposed to hit out of stealth, one shot, back into stealth. That's the style of the build, so we don't really worry too much about that crit resist. Now, Taking a look at the Mundus that we're running, we are running the Warrior Mundus. With our full Divines, the Warrior gives us 362 base weapon damage. Big weapon damage coming from this. It's going to be really nice for the build. The food that we're using on this spec is the Lava Foot and Salt Rice. This is BIS, I think, for a gank build, and there's 2 reasons for it. Number 1, it gives you a flat amount of max stam, 4,500 max stamina, very nice amount of max stat. And then number 2, we get that stam recovery as well, 457 stam recovery, really nice to give us a bit of sustain on the glass cannon gank spec. We of course omit the HP on this, as if we went for the dubious, we'd get the HP, and we just don't need it. We're playing the glass cannon gank build, don't need that HP, so we go for this food. Now for the potion that we're using on this build, I would highly recommend, because we're on a Templar, you run the Essence of Invisibility. Now this is great for a couple reasons. Number 1, it gives us access to stealth outside of sneak. And that's really where we're going to struggle as a Templar, is getting back into stealth. We have to use sneak, otherwise it's not going to work. This is going to give us the ability to re-enter stealth without using sneak. On top of it, it does allow you to reset the fight. If you vanish with the potion and go into sneak afterwards, even while in combat, it should get you out of combat most of the time. And then number 2, we get the health return from using this potion, as well as the health per second. So if we get caught out of stealth, it gives us a little bit of healing power to cope with the fact that we're not going to be very effective outside of stealth on this build, because it is, of course, a glass cannon gank spec. So I think this is the best potion to run. Now, you can definitely run something like a tri-stat potion, or even some stamina return potion, just in case you don't need the stealth. However, you need a little bit of stam back, just because we have lower stam sustain, and we will be sneaking around a lot on this build. So let's take a look at the gear that we're running on this build, guys. So to begin, we're going to talk about the Swordslinger auto sets. We mentioned them before. This is BIS for Great Sword Burst. We are running a Great Sword Burst kit on this build, so this is going to fit really well. We get that massive damage to our two-handed attacks and massive damage to our physical abilities. This is going to affect our Great Sword damaging abilities. Really, really nice. Yeah, we're just going to hit super hard with these 2 sets, and I'll just cover them together because they pretty much do the same thing. Weapon crit, max stam, weapon damage, and then a big chunk of weapon damage at the end. The other sets that we're using are One Piece Balorg and One Piece Molag Kenna, and I've actually gone with the Balorg Kenna combo here because we're not running Slime Craw on the gank spec. We still, however, have Minor Berserk, and that Minor Berserk is going to come from our Camouflaged Hunter ability, giving us Minor Berserk when we attack an opponent out of stealth for 5 seconds. So essentially, we have completely gone the route of the gank spec by running the 2 weapon damage slots here, just by saying we are only going to have that Minor Berserk when we come out of sneak. So we are dedicated to the gank spec on this build. And yeah, this is just going to let us hit harder than Slime Craw does. Slime Craw does give us a good damage bonus, but if we're getting that Minor Berserk on our bar already, we can just put more damage here. So we have gone with this combination here. And then finally, on our bow bar, we have the single Sensei's bow by itself. And I have done this on gank specs in the past. I love running on the off bow bar a single Sensei bow for that stamina recovery. It's just so if the gank doesn't go well, or if you need to escape or just fight outside of stealth, it gives you extra sustain, giving you a fighting chance on this build. So I really like the Sensei bow here. But there you go, guys. So for the traits on the weapons, we have of course gone infused on the bow with the weapon spell damage. This is going to pair really well with our snipe coming out of stealth, giving us that big bonus. It also goes well with the light attack or heavy attack coming out of stealth, giving us the bonus to the greatsword bar when we eventually swap to go in for that kill. On the greatsword bar, we are Nirnhoned with disease damage. Now, sharpened this patch is the better option for all-around damage increase, and the reason that we have not gone with sharpened on this build is, of course, because we are running a greatsword gank spec, and we have onslaught, which completely ignores your opponent's armor. So we don't need to run any sharpened on this spec simply for that reason, and that's why we've gone with Nirnhoned here. For the greatsword gank spec, Nirnhoned is the way to go 100%. And then we've gone with the disease enchant on top as well, and the disease enchant's just great for that bonus damage it will deal when we open with our greatsword, as well as that chance to debuff your opponent's healing. Really nice too. Taking a look at the jewelry, guys, we are full infused with weapon damage, complete glass cannon. We have to be for this spec. full weapon damage infused, very nice. And then the gear is full max stamina enchants with full divines. And that's just going to give us the highest amount of damage out of stealth possible. And yeah, pretty much with this spec, you'll be one-shot and stuff pretty hard. 20k onslaughts on a player on crit is definitely achievable. Yeah, this build hurts like crazy coming out of stealth. So let's take a look at the abilities that we're using on this build. So we're going to start on our greatsword bar here. And we'll buff up so you guys can see these insane tooltips without Minor Berserk. Keep in mind, with Minor Berserk, these are 8% higher. And we don't have that normally. I think when we go in stealth here, the tooltip does go up a little bit. Yes, it does. Oh my god. But that's because we're a Khajiit. So this is still without the Minor Berserk. So let's take a look at these tooltips. The first ability we have is Executioner. This is going to be your execute if your ultimate is not up. We are running Onslaught. And if your Onslaught's not ready, then you use Executioner to finish your opponent off. The next ability that we have is Critical Rush. This is going to be the primary gap closer. And the trick to using Crit Rush on this build is you want to make sure that your arrow out of stealth lands before you use your Crit Rush, because the Crit Rush will pull you out of stealth when you use it. So you want to make sure the arrow lands so you get the Minor Berserk buff and then hit with that Crit Rush. But yeah, we've got a 9.4, almost 9.5k Crit Rush tooltip with Minor Berserk. We're over 10k Crit Rush tooltip. This hits super hard. You're going to absolutely slay people with this ability. Yeah, it's great for the gank combo. It's pretty much our version of ambush so that we can pull off a gank at a distance. The next skill that we have is Camouflaged Hunter, and we mentioned this before. This is here for a few actually really great reasons. Number one, that Minor Berserk from stealth is going to allow us to deal more damage when we gank. Really, really nice. Number two, we have got Minor Savagery coming from this as well. So this opens up our potion slot for the stealth potion. We don't have to run the Major Savagery buff, sorry. So we get that 10% bonus to our critical chance, which is really, really nice. And then finally, slotting this ability gives us 3% additional weapon damage, which is just going to increase the amount of damage that we do coming out of stealth in general. Now, the next ability we have is Rally. This is here for that Minor Berserk buff, and it is also here to be the primary and only heal for this build. A little bit of a heal over time coming from it. We are super juiced up on this build, so we have a really nice Rally tooltip. We're going to sit in our rune too so you guys can see it. 1782 health every 2 seconds. Yup, Gank spec has a nice big fat rally. You'll pretty much full heal yourself every time you use rally on this build. However, you're just not durable, so it's not super viable to use long-term rallies, I guess, to try to fight. You have to use that stealth. It's just going to be your heal for when you need it, and that Major Brutality buff. The really nice thing about rally for a Gank spec is that it does not pull you out of stealth to cast this buff. Really important to mention that, I think. The next ability we have is Binding Javelin. This is going to be your primary stun for this build. We've got a whopping 9.5k tooltip, so over the 10k tooltip on this with the Minor Berserk. Again, massive amounts of damage here. Oh my god, I don't even have words. It's going to also proc the Burning Light, and we're going to look at the Burning Light on this build. We have got an 8.2k Burning Light tooltip, so 25% chance to proc that bonus damage, and it's going to be the primary stun. Really nice. Now, something I want to note is that you can use Wrecking Blow for a gank spec like this. However, because we're a Templar and we have Binding Javelin, heavy attack into Binding Javelin is going to outperform Wrecking Blow coming out of stealth, I think. So this is the way to go for Templar. But if we weren't a Templar, we would use, I think, Wrecking Blow as the close range stun coming out of stealth for this build, or close range kind of power smack. Now, the ultimate that we're using on this build, guys, y'all knew it was coming. We have got Onslaught. And this is coming at a 27.6k tooltip with Minor Berserk. This is 29k. With our Infused Bow Enchant, 31k Onslaught on this build. This ignores armor. If we kill our opponent with it, it returns the cost of the ultimate immediately. And on top of it, we strip the armor from the opponent and give it to ourselves afterwards. Yeah, for a gank build, this is like the best ultimate you can use if you're not a Nightblade and you don't have in-cap. This is going to hit like a truck. You guys will see it in the footage. Onslaught is a big reason why we get a lot of the ganks off. It's a very good ultimate for ganking, and it fits really, really well with this build. We have built this build around having a massive Onslaught. 31k Onslaught tooltip fully buffed. That is not a joke, guys. That is going to absolutely shred people in PvP. They're going to get hit super hard. Easily a 20k onslaught against a target who's not bulky, and even bulky targets, even ones that have huge armor and percent reduction, you still hit them for massive onslaughts with this build. So yeah, this is going to hurt. This is really going to hurt people coming out of stealth. Fantastic ultimate for the spec. Let's take a look at that bow bar. We have got focused aim as our first ability, and we'll buff up again so you guys can see that nasty 19.6k tooltip on the focused aim. Of course, that's missing minor berserk. So over a 21k focused aim on this build. This is going to hit really hard too. Really, really nice for the gank spec. It's going to be our intro move. It applies minor fracture, which is nice too because it's going to increase the damage of the rest of our spec. We did not go for the poison damage morph here because it is not affected by auto, and on top of it, we don't get the minor fracture. In the interest of applying as much damage in a short period of time as possible, the minor fracture is worth more than the heal debuff. The heal debuff is just worth more in the long run. However, on this build, if you fail a gank, you can still re-enter sneak sometimes if you go into sneak right away instead of attacking your opponent. So the poison debuff, I think, isn't useful for this style of spec. We definitely go for the focused aim for the maximum gank burst. And yeah, we're going to pair this with the crit rush. Like I mentioned, you want this to land while you're still in stealth before you use the crit rush, and that's simply because it will proc your minor berserk buff. If you crit rush too soon, you won't get the minor berserk buff. The next skill that we have is Race Against Time. This is going to be a really important move for this build. It's going to be your primary access to Major Expedition. We do have bow, however, we don't really want to be bow dodge rolling around because it will break our stealth. So Race Against Time is going to be a access to Major Expedition, and it will not pull us out of sneak while we use it, so we can run around fast and sneak using this ability. Really, really nice. And then, of course, it gives us that crit damage bonus. Very, very important for this build to have that crit damage bonus. Just going to increase the amount of gank that we do. You can go with either morph of this ability. Doesn't really matter. Whatever you prefer for a gank spec. The next ability that we have is Camouflaged Hunter. And this is the same as on our other bar. We have it slotted on both bars so that when we open with the bow from stealth, we not only have the bonus crit chance, but we also get the minor berserk when we open with our bow too. Very important to slot this on both bars for the gank spec, guys. Very important. Now, the next skill that we have is Extended Ritual, and this is going to be a primary removal of negative effects. This is going to remove things like Mark. Very important, I think, for the Templar to have Extended Ritual to remove damage over time, remove curses, remove marks, so that when you re-enter your sneak, those dots don't pull you back out of stealth and you can stay in sneak. And yeah, this is pretty much Templar's biggest strength as a stealth build, is having access to this purge. Templar is the one class that has a very powerful purge, and it really helps getting back into sneak, and it really opens up this style of build on a Templar more so than it would on other classes, I think. And that's why the Templar gank build, I think, worked out so well, is just because of Extended Ritual. It lets us re-enter stealth easily, probably more easily than some Nightblades have re-entering stealth when they're getting marked. So there you go. Really important for this build to run this ability for that negative effect removal. And then finally, the last ability we have is Restoring Focus, and we've gone with the stamina morph of this guy to return stamina while we are in combat. Now, this guy here you'll only really use when you're defending yourself, or if you want to plop it down before you go for a gank and no one can see you. It will pull you out of stealth to use it, so you do have to use it in a safe spot in order to use it, or use it on the defense, like I said. And that's primarily why it's here. It'll give us that sustain that will help us get away, and it will also give us the armor buffs, which will help us get away too. And then finally, guys, for the ultimate on the bow bar, we have gone with Precognition. And Precognition is BIS for a gank build. I can't stress that enough, especially if you're running Greatsword. Precognition pairs so well with Onslaught. If we get an Onslaught kill, we can follow it up with a Precognition. So not only can we get the kill, but we can teleport away afterwards. That's so important, I think. The combination of these two ultimates is very, very strong, and it pairs incredibly good on a gank build. I didn't go for the bow ult here because we're going for that glass cannon gank spec. It would hit super hard, but, I mean, why use the bow ult when we can one-shot with our greatsword, right? So that's why we've gone with the precog as our defensive ult there. Alright, So let's take a look at that champion tree. We're going to start off in our green tree. In the tower, we've got 26 Warlord, 14 Sprinter, and 5 Bashing Focus. We've got to break free, we got to sprint, and we got to bash, and in that order. So that's why we put that there. Bashing, of course, important because we're playing a gank spec. We always want to add the bash to the end of our gank combo just to increase the amount of damage it does. In the lover tree, we've got 75 Mooncalf, 56 Arcanist, 0 Healthy, 0 Tenacity. Big focus on Mooncalf here, and then a follow-up with Arcanist. We are a vampire, so Healthy isn't that great. We could put a little bit in here, but really doesn't help the build too much. Just really the Mooncalf. We got to have as much stam sustain as possible for sneaking around. So in the Shadow Tree, we've got 61 Tumbling, 31 Shadow Ward, 2 Befoul, and 0 in Shade. Now, we could have put some points in Shade for sure, but the reason that I didn't put points in Shade is because we do have access to our Ledger main passives, Improved Hiding. And if we use our Improved Hiding passives, plus being a vampire, our sneak is very, very, very cheap already. And we could put points in Shade to decrease the cost of sneak even further. However, I think investing into our defensive abilities here is a little bit more valuable, simply because that's what we really need to get back into sneak. Being in sneak is not a huge issue. I mean, we can sustain our stamina just by not moving around, but when we're out of sneak, we need to be able to get back into it without expending all our resource. So that's why I didn't put points in Shade, just because of those reasons there. And then, of course, big focus on Tumbling. We got to roll dodge a lot, and we have some Shadow Ward because we're going to need to block Purge, roll dodge, get back into stealth, and gank somebody again. 2 points in Befoul. We just had a couple left over. In the blue tree, we've got nothing in the first one there. In the Atronach, 39 Physical Weapon Expert and 81 Master at Arms. All of our attacks are direct damage. Master at Arms is super great. 39 Physical Weapon Expert, just to increase our light and heavy attacks with the Greatsword and give us that Tactician passive for the bonus damage against an off-balance opponent. Very, very nice as well. And then in the Ritual tree, we've got 56 Mighty, 46 Piercing, and 48 Precise Strikes. Focus, of course, on Mighty to increase our bulk damage, and then Piercing, Precise Strikes equally evened out at just below 50. The important passives that we get here is Perfect Strike for that bonus crit. Really nice for a gank build to have a high crit rate. And Last Stand, also nice in case we found ourselves in a tricky situation. Give ourselves a little bit more alt sustain. Look at I'm all over the place here. And then we have the Exploiter passive as well, which is going to be good if we roll dodge, set someone off balance. Again, if we're caught out of stealth, maybe we have the opportunity to finish the guy off, so it's going to help out in that situation as well. Taking a look at our red tree, we've got 51 Ironclad, 63 Resistant, big focus to reduce incoming direct damage and reduce incoming crit damage. We don't have any Impen on, so this will make up for our lack of Impen somewhat. 30 Spell Shield, 30 Medium Armor Focus, just to bulk up our front resistances as well. Really nice there. And then finally, in the Lord tree, or in the Lady tree, we've got 32 Hardy, 32 Elemental Defender, reducing the incoming physical and magical damage we take. Nothing in Thick Skin because we are a Templar. We have access to that very strong Purge, so we don't need to worry about Thick Skin that much. And then finally, in the Lord tree, we got 32 Quick Recovery for a little bit of healing power. And there you go, guys. That is the build. All right, guys. So let's do a little bit of PvP commentary. So this is just one long fight here. So we're going to start it off with the first attack here. And as you can see, she moves on her horse the second we go for the crit rush. So we don't end up getting the stun or anything. And she retaliates right away. Now, like I mentioned, this is a full gank spec. So we're in big trouble here because we are not designed for an out of stealth conflict. There you see we finally get the stun off on her. We go for that. We go for a little bit of a heavy attack charge there, trying to look for an opportunity to open her up. Go for the precog to kind of fake her out a little bit. We've got literally no stamina. Heavy attack into the execute. We've got the armor down. We actually managed to finish her off. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so there is a good look at what happens when the gank goes wrong. And, you know, that will happen. And we stuck around for that fight. We could have definitely tried to escape, and you'll see more of that now that we're going to find ourselves in more of an outnumbered environment. So we work our way around the top here. And we're just going to look for some yellows to open up on here. Here we see a healer. We open up with the snipe, and we are completely denied by lag. There you see none of our attacks register on her whatsoever. The crit rush, well, the only thing that registered was the opening snipe. Every other attack was denied by lag. So we run back up the hill here. Important to do a roll dodge as the eye is closing to make sure we dodge incoming projectiles if someone attacks us as we're trying to get in stealth there. Here we see a guy. We go for the snipe, the crit rush in, and we again have a bit of lag there. We're unable to do like a nice smooth combo on her, and she throws her block up right away, right into the invisibility potion, and we're just going to pull out and reset here. Very important to be patient, I think, on the gank spec. Here you see we're popped. Our eye gets popped as it's closing. We go for the roll dodge. This guy marks us, so we purge it, and we roll again with the purge. Here we see we open with the snipe on this guy. He goes into stealth, so we don't land the snipe. There we go for the crit rush. We get him with the javelin and a bash light attack executioner, and as we break the stun, we chug that invisibility pot, and there you see all the AD coming, so we kind of made that one just in time. Here we see a guy by himself on siege. What are we going to do? Go for the snipe, go for that light attack, the crit rush, and finish him off. Now, very important that we land the snipe before we start crit rushing there, so we get that bonus for the minor berserk from sneak. This guy goes for the res there. We hit him with the snipe. However, we're denied the crit rush there by the little piece of terrain. Since we only landed one arrow, we simply just go right back into sneak. We're going to purge, make sure we're okay, and re-enter stealth. And we're going to reopen on these guys on the side. This guy here is a little bit unaware. We hit him with the Greatsword Ultimate. Great retaliation by him going into that dodge roll there. And we go for the potion. As soon as we enter stealth here, we actually go for a direction change. We take an AoE from this guy's Shulk. We're just going to keep peeling back. These guys aren't going to chase super hard. Very, very conscientious of when we're out of stealth on this build. Here you see we get marked by a Nightblade. We just go for a few purges and dodge rolls, and we re-enter stealth. And now we're just going to open on the back end of the siege again. Now that the heat's kind of off, this Nightblade opened up on this guy here. We don't even get an attack off on him. This guy we hit with the Javelin. Oh, we hit him with the execute there. As he goes down, we actually managed to finish him off. A little bit laggy at the beginning of this clip. It gets better as the clip goes on. It's just this little bit at the beginning is kind of laggy. Little bit of Zergy fight there. I think we actually managed to pick up an execute on someone who had been burnt by siege, but just skip over that. Sorry. Here we see we open on this Sork from behind. We get him with the snipe, stun him with the snipe, and we actually managed to kill him there. Little bit of lag going into our light attack onslaught, but we still managed to get the kill because he does not break the stun. So we bring that guy down, and we're just going to move around and reset here. These guys are busy fighting some more EP. Now is our opportunity. We go for a gank on this guy here. Big snipe, crit rush into the wrong target. We're going to turn around right away, go into the purge, and chug our potion. Re-enter stealth. This guy's very low HP. We're just going to hit him with an onslaught and then go right back into stealth with the roll dodge there. Nice little execute on that guy there to bring him down. And now we're just going to open on this Sork here. We go for the snipe, the light attack into the crit rush. There's the light attack and the onslaught bringing him down. He just breaks the stun as we land the last few attacks there. So a little bit of extra distance between us and them on the crit rush. Could have been a bit cleaner. A little bit of lag on that snipe there, but that's okay. We wait for it. There we see no damage. We managed to finish him off with the Executioner. There's another gank there. This Sork was just rezzed, so we're going to hit him with the Javelin. Go for that heavy attack into the Onslaught. Get another nice clean kill there. Oh my gosh, there you see just the massive damage on this build. How much hurt we can cause. We're just taking people down one at a time here. Get a little bit of stamina back. And we're going to reopen on this healer here. He's holding his block. We go for the snipe into the light attack. Onslaught, the other player had hit him with a wrecking blow there, so he ends up dropping his guard, and we just smack him super hard, bring him down. And now what we're going to do is take a little bit of a peek inside the keep here, and AD has successfully defended or, flipped this keep, and now we're going to have to deal with some of them out here. We catch this guy low HP and absolutely punish him there. Oh my god, just bring him down. Go for the invisibility pot just to make sure we enter stealth safely there. However, we were pretty safe. Someone goes for the res. We go for that snipe combo. Bow heavy attack into the Javelin. And there we see the onslaught to bring him down yet again. Oh my gosh. That ultimate has been doing overtime this fight. How many onslaught kills have we gotten? It's absolutely crazy. So here you see we actually get popped by a Nightblade, I think, is underneath us here. And there you see he engages on us. And there's a lot of yellow, and yeah, it's been fun ganking these guys for a while, but we all know what's going to happen now. We're going to have a lot of yellow jumping on us. And I'm a little bit reluctant here. I don't want to jump out of the keep, even though that is probably the safest option, is to jump out the side. But I want to re-enter stealth on the side here. They're throwing stealth detects down, and I'm just like sitting in them. I don't even know what to say. They put a lot of damage into me, and there is the big group, man. Yeah, AoE spam, good fight. Not much we can do there. However, we do manage to have a camp close by, take the res, and just as a yellow player is coming up the side here, we're just going to open up on him. We didn't open from stealth, so we don't have the damage bonus, and he just goes into steel tornadoes. And yeah, maybe not the best bet. We're just going to finish him off right there, bring him down, and go back into sneak here and wait for some more ganks, hopefully. This guy comes onto the resource here. We open up with the snipe. Oh my gosh. Snipe, bow, light attack into the onslaught. Nice combo there. Bring him down really fast on the resource. And it'll give us a little bit of a tick here, I believe. Here we see a few yellow players ride up. They end up going back to the door here, but this guy here doesn't go inside. So we're going to open up on him with the bow. And we don't get it because he is in sneak. So we missed the bow attack there. Just going to see if we can find him here. There we go. We found him, and he doesn't see us. We get him with the javelin stun into the light attack onslaught. We absolutely destroy that guy. Oh my god, so much damage out of stealth. Absolutely shredding through their armor there. This guy goes to res the player that we just ganked. We're going to reopen on the guy that we just smacked here. There you see the bow attack into the crit rush light attack onslaught. Bring him down. We go for the snipe on this guy. Into the light attack javelin. Into the heavy attack onslaught. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the footage. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.